Tonight, we're following a crazy story, some breaking news out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, after a driver went around barricades and drove on a pedestrian-only way during something called the Kipona Festival, where people were walking around, eating from food trucks, shopping at local art tents. 3 people have been hurt and are hospitalized, including a child, a worker, and a woman. We're told they're in fair condition, but it was chaos when all of this happened. That driver went about 5 blocks. This is some video that you can see. The ambulance arrived on the scene. People were taken in stretchers to area hospitals. You can see this is near the food trucks right there on Front Street. We also know that the driver went from Forster Street, which is right near the Harvey Taylor Bridge, and drove straight down, according to police, Front Street until Cranberry Street. So that's about 5 blocks to my estimate. I want to bring in Yasmin Cowan, who got to the scene right when police were talking about what happened. But you spoke with people, Yasmin, who witnessed this. I was there Saturday with my family, with my now 2-year-old and a friend and her 2-year-old. We were just walking around like all these other families, and this could have been any of us. So what are these people saying? I'm sure this was terrifying to see.
You're right. I mean, people were saying it was horrific. I mean, this was reported around 6:15. I mean, this is Labor Day. People were off from work enjoying what was supposed to be a family-friendly event, but it turned in a completely different direction. People were saying that they don't feel safe on this end where Front Street is and Cranberry Street because, it was just traumatic for them to see this. This one lady who wanted to remain anonymous said she was with 7 of her family members, and wow, she was literally crying, just in distress, because she thought it could have been her. And I spoke to another witness. His name is Anthony, and he said it happened literally 5 feet from him, and he too thought he could have been hit. He said there were people running, screaming, shouting, because they could have been hit too, Candace. I mean, there was no telling where this car could have gone.
Well, we're watching video of this stretcher, and that was a little boy who was put on that stretcher there. We blurred his face for his identity, of course, as he's a minor. And of course, anybody in that situation, we don't want to identify who they are. It looks like he was taken to UPMC Harrisburg. We did reach out to them, and they said that they do have people who are there, patients who are there from all of this. But just being 5 feet away, and apparently this woman who we have video of, police say taken in handcuffs, taken away. Apparently she was blaring her horn as she drove down the street. So the people you talked to, were they just like, were they eating? What were they doing at the time?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 people I spoke with, I mean, they were just walking. I mean, with this festival, you're either grabbing food, you're saying hi to your friends, you're just enjoying just the scenery around you. They were casually minding their own business when this happened so suddenly, Candace. And, police did confirm that, they don't believe there were any other individuals in the car. But one witness said they saw a baby. But that's not confirmed just yet. But we do know that those 3 individuals you were talking about, the city worker, the child, and the adult, they are at nearby hospitals facing non-life-threatening injuries from what police were saying. But I mean, this just was a shock to everyone. I mean, again, it's Labor Day. It's a day off. You're not expecting this to happen.
Right. And I think
the festival was wrapping up as well.
Yeah, our web producer is pulling up some images right here. This is the woman who police are saying that's her car. This is the woman that you're seeing right there who there's video of them arresting her, or at least detaining her. We don't know what charges she's facing. We're hearing that the investigation is going to continue with her, but someone captured her being taken away. And then in the video, you can hear people cursing at her. And then there's the red van that she was apparently driving. Now, it did look like there was a car seat in the van, and we did ask police, was there anyone else in the vehicle? They said not to their knowledge. So that's part of the investigation too. A big question is why. It's like when something like this happens, the big question is why, but it sounds like she went around barricades. And this is typically a street that you drive on. It's one way, but they blocked it off for the festival. So around that point, I know we saw food trucks. What can you kind of describe the area to me, what it looks like, what else is around there?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of food trucks. There was even a karaoke stage. People were singing, and just people just casually walking with their children, playing on the grass. I mean, if you're on Front Street, you'll see, the grass is very close to the street there. So if a car comes through, you're going to be quite next to it. But like you said, there were barricades, so no car should have been driving down that street. So how that individual got through, it's interesting because it is blocked off.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I know we were watching a live stream earlier on our Facebook page, which you all can go back and watch on the CBS 21 Facebook page. And you could see the police working. They put out a bunch of evidence markers of like shoes, maybe pieces of the car, maybe pieces of other things that were hit. So it looks like, I mean, there were a ton of markers. Is the crime scene tape still up around there? Are the police like still on the scene right now?
Yeah, police are still on the scene. Crime tape is still up, surrounding that car. The car is still there. I mean, it looks a wreck. I mean, the car is coming apart and towards the front. I mean, it looks really bad, Candace.
Mm-hmm. Were you at that press conference? Were you able to listen to it at all or no?
Yeah, I was at the press conference, and the police captain with Harrisburg City says, sometimes with these incidents, they are controllable and they're not. But he says overall, the city is safe. But as I said, one anonymous witness I spoke to said she does not or they don't plan on coming back again because they're afraid of what else could happen. I mean, they even said in years past, there were people that would pickpocket you. If you turned around, they saw you turn around, they would try and steal your belongings. So, they've expressed that they've seen just series of crime in the city, nothing like this ever, but they've seen people trying to steal your belongings, especially when there's large gatherings. It influences and encourages those to use this as a perfect time to do something they shouldn't be doing, from what they told me.
Well, we were already on alert for this festival because the July 4th fireworks show was canceled. And then they had fireworks last night, Sunday night. They had increased police presence. Everything went off well. Everything was going well. This is the very end of the festival. This is the third day. And then all this happens. Amber is asking, do they have any understanding of a motive? Amber, when we talked to police like an hour ago, they don't at this time, but they did say that they are interviewing the woman. They are interviewing her. So they're trying to figure out what exactly was going on. But I'm just looking at this. I know it's probably smaller on your screen. There's at least 19 crime scene markers right here. And another person is just saying, oh my gosh. And when all of this came out in the newsroom too, we were all just kind of like you guys, flabbergasted that this happened. Because, I mean, you were on a different story, Yasmin. And I know when you heard about it, you were just like, I don't
My mouth literally dropped, Candace. My mouth dropped because I'm thinking it's Labor Day. People are off from work enjoying the last day of the festival. This is day 3. And then we hear this towards the end. I mean, no one expected this to happen. It did not come across anyone's mind that this would even take place here because there's so many officials on standby in case something does happen. But I mean, this is just astounding and not in a good way.
Horrific. It really is. And the good news is, as of right now, those people who were hit, who were injured, are in fair condition, which thank goodness, because we were hearing some horror stories from rumors, but that's also why we work to make sure everything's confirmed before we report it. But you can see on your screen, just that woman was putting up markers and then later for the crime scene. And then later I saw her taking photos as they're processing everything there too. I think there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Like, we don't know who this lady is, how old she is. We don't know anything about the victims right now. And we only know the injuries of those who went to the hospital. Of course, I'm sure there's a lot of people who, like you said, just were experiencing the emotional impact of all of this. And I'm sure people were jumping out of the way. It sounds like this person was just driving down the road, blaring her horn and hitting anything in her path.
And I think people are wondering too, does this lady have children herself? Because on her car, there's a bumper sticker that says, and I quote, "hella kids up in here." So we're wondering, is she a mother too? And if she is a mother, then why would she act in such a way?
Right. Yeah. And we did ask too during the police conference, like, was she under the influence of anything? And they didn't know at the time. They wouldn't answer that question. So that will come out too. Janet's asking any word on how the victims are. We know they are in fair condition at area hospitals. UPMC did confirm that they have some patients. We called earlier to UPMC to see if the coroner responded or was called to the hospital, and they said no. That was around 2 hours ago. So it sounds like Everyone is doing okay, but of course still hospitalized. So we're hoping that everybody survives this, but it's hard to process because like you said, it's Labor Day, it's a family event, and they had increased police presence from what they said. Now, if I remember correctly, and I don't know if you remember this too, Yasmin, but when they were talking, the police commissioner and then the person who was speaking said they did have police around, but no one who was like stationed at the barricades.
Yeah, there was no one stationed at the barricades, but there were police on standby just walking through the entire festival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
walking through the entire festival. I mean, they're usually here all the time whenever there's a festival in Harrisburg.
Right. Yeah. And it was so weird because like I said, I was there Saturday with a friend, and I was walking around like during the middle of the day. I was like, this is good. Like, I like this event, right? I mean, you want to be able to go downtown and hang out, and then you have somebody who does something like this, and it's just scary.
It's scary, but thank God no one else was hurt. It could have been 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And you said the festival was closing down too. So like apparently police were and like city workers were like, okay, it's time to go. Like, let's clear out. We got to open the street back up, of course. So is it still closed? Can people drive down Front Street at all or no traffic?
I mean, from where we are right now, you can see that Front Street is closed. There's a lot of police just barricading the street off. So no one can really get through.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So it remains closed at this hour.
Yeah. So I think people just want to know like why this happened. Was there a motive? Was this individual under the influence? Because, another witness I spoke to said this woman had to have been drinking the way she was acting.
There were a lot of people commenting on Facebook saying things, but yeah, we just don't know yet. And I think when police talk to her, that will come out in the next, day or so. And I can see, I thought I saw a dog on the scene, but it looks like that's just the police officer's gear.
Yeah. And
do you know how many like police cars and officers did you see when you were there? Like dozens?
I would say I've seen about 7 police cars from where I am.
Okay.
But that could be a different story depending on which end you're walking or driving through.
Yeah. When you guys got there, because I know you were in Lancaster on another story and we had another reporter, Maxine, get there first. Was it still chaotic or had things kind of calmed down? Actually, Yasmin, before you answer that, let me get to Maxine. She just jumped in. So Maxine, if you can join us. Hey. Maxine's working a double shift. So she's been working since 9 this morning or before that. So thank you for joining us. What was it like when you got to the scene, Maxine? Because you were going live on our show and we saw ambulances passing you and we heard them.
Yes. Yeah. Me and my photographer looked right at each other and we had seen so many go by, Candace, that we just were like, something's going down. It was, I mean, multiple ambulances. We saw a fire truck go. I mean, probably dozens of police cars, like just going straight down.
Speeding down. Yeah.
Down Second Street.
Said it's sad how normal it seems that these kind of events happen. Couldn't agree more. So when you saw all of that, you guys, of course, went to the scene to see what was going on. What was it like when you got there?
We were just talking about it a few minutes ago here. It was so strange. It was like an unusual, almost silence. Just people were clearly in shock. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had no idea at that point what the conditions of any of those victims were. We didn't even know how many victims. We had no idea what was going on other than people just, as we were running by, saying, the car's there, the crime scene's up there. And we just kind of went to the scene, and there was this woman that was sitting down with her family and her baby by her, and she just was sobbing. And I went up to her and I said, are you okay? Like, can I hug you? What can I do? It just felt like everybody was kind of doing that for each other all over North Front Street, because whether you were 5 feet away from it or you were down, a few blocks, to have something like that happen, for many people, it felt like they just were so lucky that life almost kind of flashed before their eyes.
Truly. Yeah.
And I spoke with one other woman who luckily was so kind and was able to share with us for our story tonight, about what happened really and what she saw. And she just kind of, she just sobbed and just cried kind of in my arms a little bit because she had 7 kids with her. She had her kids, she had her husband. They were just going as normal, to this festival. This is supposed to be happy, fun, end of the festival here. It's dinner
Yeah.
time. And she said, thank goodness I kind of turned around. She said, I'm from the city. So, usually when you hear a noise behind you, you don't really look. And she said, thank God I did, because in that moment, I mean, she was just obviously so very emotional. She was like, my life, my kid's life, my husband's life was absolutely
Everything.
spared today.
Yeah, yeah. And the good news, the silver lining here is like, it sounds like these victims are going to be okay. That's what we're hoping for. Police said they're in fair condition, which we were initially hearing that was not the case. So when he said that, it was like, okay, sigh of relief. Hopefully they're going to be okay, especially that young boy who was put on that stretcher. I mean, everybody who was involved. I know the mayor said earlier that there was a woman in a wheelchair who was hit, and then there was a city worker too. We have been looking at, I think it looks like 37 at least crime markers and stuff like that. So what did you notice? What are those crime markers pinpointing?
Well, as you can see there, and people pointed this out as well during our Facebook Live today too. I mean, you can see there's shoes on the ground, just personal belongings.
Okay.
One woman described to us just seeing bodies fly, which is such a terrible thing to hear and terrible thing to see. But you can imagine, with these shoes kind of going everywhere, people are scattering. You're either, that could have been a shoe of someone that was hit, or that could have been a shoe of someone literally just moving out of the way, just running. Yeah. What else do you just drop everything and you run?
Yeah.
And they're saying too that, and I say they as in, witnesses who were there, say that the car, came right through North Front Street and hit things like a trash can and, and pieces of, or kind of like the tent for vendors and stuff. So like hitting those along the way, just kind of going through. So of course there's trash, there's shoes, there's, maybe some of the vendors things, just kind of scattered. We're going to go out there in a few minutes and take a look at, what it is now. We're here kind of ingesting everything and really working through to get all those details there, as you know. But we're going to go back out there and see what kind of the status is of that. It really seems like they're going to be out here for a while. Yeah. I mean, investigating this, processing this. I'm not seeing that the street is open, but of course, we will update you if we.
Yeah, I don't know if you and Yasmin are close to each other. She said where she is, it's not open either. So we'll keep update on that. I'll let you go because I know you need to get ready for our 10 o'clock show.
Yes.
But thank you for that info, and I'll wrap everything up.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Maxine. So that was Maxine and Yasmin. So both of them on the scene tonight. Maxine was one of the first ones on the scene there. So just a good recap for you is a woman, police say, drove around barricades down Front Street, about 5 blocks from Forster to Cranberry Street. If you're familiar with Front Street in Harrisburg, hit anything in her path. You saw the red van. You saw how it was mangled up in the front. You saw the crime scene tape and the crime markers with shoes, personal items, pieces of probably food trucks or people's vendors or artwork or whatever on the ground there. So the woman was taken into custody. We are still waiting on more information about her. We don't know anything about her right now, just that she was detained, and police are talking to her and continuing their investigation. Police were on the scene taking photos this afternoon. This all happened around 6:15 as the Kipona Festival, which is like an art festival downtown, and there's like a lot of Native American heritage with it. So there was a puppet show. There's all this stuff going on. It's a family friendly festival, and that's when this woman apparently drove down the street and just hit people in her path. We know 3 people are injured. We know that a young boy is injured and was put on a stretcher and taken to a hospital. We saw him loaded into the UPMC ambulance. We heard that a woman in a wheelchair was injured, and then a city worker. They are all, according to police, in fair condition tonight, which is a blessing. And we are still waiting on more information on who they are, how they're doing. I know we're all thinking about them because we just want to make sure that they're okay, and everybody who is involved in this tonight. I know somebody on Facebook earlier said it's really sad that this has become normal, and truly it is. My thought was thinking back to, there was like a Christmas parade. That was Evan who said that, a Christmas parade where a bunch of children were, killed. I think that was in like Wisconsin or something. I can't remember exactly, but that's what I thought about. It's like a happy moment and a happy time for people that's ruined by one person. So police were there locally, just monitoring everything. They were not stationed at the barricade when this happened. That's what they said. So sorry, I dropped my phone. There's still a lot of information that we're waiting on, but this happened, 6:15, and it's almost 10 o'clock here. So it hasn't been that long, but we'll follow up on this tomorrow. And we have all of this video on our Facebook and YouTube pages, and also on our website. So you can go to cbs21.com as we continue to follow this. So silver lining is, it sounds like everybody's going to be okay, and they have this driver in custody. And so we'll find out more. But as they say, hug your families. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. So we'll keep you updated. I'm Candace Scalise. I'll be posting on my Facebook too, but we'll keep you updated as all this continues, and any other headlines that could impact you and your family. Okay. Hope you guys have a good night. Hope you were able to enjoy your Labor Day. I know this is a tragic way to end it, but I hope that you were able to enjoy the weather, and let's have a good, productive week, and we'll check back in with you guys with more breaking news and anything else we find out. But for now, I'm Candace Scalise. We'll see you next time.